Om Namah Shivaya, world raisers. Let's watch how Shiva stopped time for Markandeya. A request by our Yogi Pratik and retake. Thank you.
But there's a certain dimension of consciousness which can go beyond time. Yama came to claim his life. Markandeya, who knew the ways of life, just did one simple act. They say he continued to live as a 15-year-old because he came in touch with that dimension of consciousness which we refer to as Kala Bhairava.
Never heard.
We have known Shiva as various energy forms. Kala Bhairava is a unique manifestation of Shiva, which is in the form of time. You cannot manage time because it is running at its own pace. Energy you can manage, you can play with it. Time is running at its own pace. But there's a certain dimension of consciousness which can go beyond time. That dimension of consciousness is referred to as Kala Bhairava. There's a beautiful story in the tradition. All of you who are from the Indian background at least, you definitely have heard of Markandeya. The story is told in many ways, this needs to be understood. Markandeya was a child. When he was born or before he was born, this choice was made. The parents had to choose. Either they'll have an idiot who will live for 100 years or a brilliant, shining being who will live only for 16 years. The parents were wise and they chose the later, that they bore a brilliant, shining child of enormous capabilities. But as days passed, as years rolled, they became… because they know the expiry date. Every child you bear has come with the expiry date, it is just that you don't know the expiry date, including yourself. But now they know the expiry date of their child, so they became very tortured as the date came close. And they revealed this to the child because the child was phenomenally wise and knowledgeable. And when the moment came, when the god of death, Yama, came to claim his life, Markandeya, who knew the ways of life, just did one simple act. There was a form of Shiva in the form of an ellipsoid or a linga, an energy form, which was particularly consecrated as Kala Bhairava, and he just held the linga. The moment he held the linga, time came to a standstill and death could not approach him and held him right there. Then that dimension of consciousness opened up within him where he was not available for time anymore. They say he continued to live as a 15-year-old boy, never turning 16, because he came in touch with that dimension of consciousness which we refer to as Kala Bhairava.
Kala means time. Kala also means nothingness. Kala also means cycles on one level. Kala also means beyond cycles on another level. So these things are, in a subtle way, they're deciphered. Kala, Kala Bhairava, Mahakala, these are all talking about the same thing in different dimensions of experience. Right now, our experience of time is all because of the cycles of the nature. Anything that is in cycles, we can measure how many times it went around. That's how we are coming to understanding of time. And Kala Bhairava is just making an embodiment of that so that we can access it, creating an energy space where we can access that dimension, because I think in Tamil, the word that is used is very appropriate. When somebody dies, they'll say, "Kalamaitan." That means his time got over. So it's very simple and it's perfect. All that happened is the time got over. They don't understand, we are like timed toys. We're just going on. When the battery runs out, poof. It's just that most human beings don't realize time is ticking away. They think they're on forever. No, we are toys of time. Time is playing with us right now and it's getting over. You do something, it gets over. You don't do something, it gets over. You burn intensely like a volcano, it gets over. You just be insipid, it gets over. Do whatever the hell, it is getting over. So you are just a toy of time. So Kala Bhairava is to access that dimension so that you become a master of time. If you become a master of time, that means you become a master of life too, and the life process, because all life process is based and rooted in time.
So, whoa, that was incredible. And no, I didn't know that story of that boy, Markandeya, and then what happened, to him in his story, and then embracing the Linga at the time of his death, and then becoming timeless, and then living, as a 15-year-old boy. So, don't know anything about it really, don't know if it's true, but it's all obviously part of the Hindu culture, and we are open to all sorts of miraculous things.
Why wouldn't it be true?
Yeah, when we're talking about divine beings. Well, because then what? Is he still alive? Right? So if he's beyond time, is he still walking around somewhere? Is he still living as a 15-year-old boy? Because
let us know.
Yeah, let us know. So
with the story, how the story ended,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, why it's kind of mind-boggling, and there's a lot of people that wouldn't believe that, right? So I'm just saying that we're open to that. So anyways, but I think the main message of the video and what Sadhguru was talking about is that where time is ticking away, right? We have an expiry date, right? So in the moment of death, is uncertain. We don't really know when that expiry date for us is. So what are we going to do if we know that we're all going to die? We're going to die someday. So then what do we need to do to make our life meaningful? And then what is life all about? So I think the great message of death, right, and why it's so prominent in all spiritual traditions, really, when you get to the heart of the matter, is that this is a precious opportunity, right? Just to be born and incarnated as a human being with all of the wisdom and knowledge, available. We can really examine our existence and go within and find out, okay, well, what is life? What is consciousness? What is the mind? Who are we? Like, what is going on? What is this existence, right? Because then it's like, because there's nothing else really to do that is more important and beneficial for that, not only for ourselves, but for all of humanity and this planet that we're living on, because, there's more important things than external, seeking, and, like when you get into desire and greed and wealth and abundance and wanting to make this life so special as far as like material comforts are concerned, then what? Then we die, right? So it's like, people that just seeking to accumulate external wealth and power and fame or whatever it is, are maybe missing out on something internal, a spiritual experience, a dimension, to ourselves that is gonna, carry on, right? Because if you're spiritual or religious, then you come to the understanding that, we're eternal beings. There is going to be another life, right? Another either incarnation, or you're going to transcend completely, enlightenment and all of this stuff. So the big teachings of time and death, for me, when I first heard it from the Buddha, and it became my favorite teaching of the Buddha, and of course he's not the only one that was teaching this. He was about the preciousness of the human rebirth and right? So precious and fortunate and grateful, to have come across spiritual teachings, even whatever happened that caused you to begin seeking the higher truth, right? So there's, despair and anguish and suffering, if that served the purpose of igniting your internal desire for something more, then it was great. And we can be grateful for that as well. So,
yeah. So, yeah, I have no problem with believing this story. I mean, because it's like anything is possible in this divine play. It's I always used to believe that, I don't know, like this is not possible, that is not possible, and there are also all these rules, and but that lately through so many videos we watched just got like washed away, because why would there be any rules? Like, why would there be any laws in a way, ultimately, right? Like conventionally, of course, but ultimately, once you transcend the ego, anything is possible.
So if you like this video as much as we did, please hit that like button. Remember to subscribe. It really, really helps the channel. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Are you using time to its biggest advantage? And remember, as always, raise yourself
and raise the world. Thank you so much, everyone. And a very special thank you to our world yogi Pratik. We love you.
Peace.